My brother destroyed my 780 credit score by fraudulently stealing $665,000 in my name while my parents helped him. They said I was being selfish for reporting it. So I dragged them all to court and sent him to prison for 24 months. Hey, Reddit, my family screwed me over in the worst way possible. Forged my signature, destroyed my credit, cost me everything I worked for. So I took them to court and watched it all burn. But before we get to that, let me start from the beginning. Hey, Josephine here, 29. Been working construction since I was 19. Foreman now at a mid-sized company in the city. I rent a decent apartment, drive a 2015 F-150 I bought with cash 5 years ago. Nothing fancy, but it's paid off and runs fine. Got a younger brother, Kyle, who's 26. Works in business development, which I think means he posts on LinkedIn a lot and goes to networking events. He's had maybe 6 businesses in the last 5 years. Marketing firm that folded in 8 months. Crypto investment thing that tanked. Consulting gig that never launched. Some app idea that never got built. None of them lasted. He's always got a new angle, new pitch, new game changer. And my parents eat it up every time like he's the next Elon Musk. Me, I was just the steady one, the boring one. Anyway, last Tuesday, I'm sitting on a stack of lumber during lunch break eating a sandwich when my phone rings. Unknown number, but local area code. So I pick up. Is this Josephine Brennan? Yeah. Who's this? This is Monica from First Liberty Bank. I'm calling about your mortgage account ending in 4758. You're currently 90 days past due, and we need to discuss your options before we proceed with foreclosure proceedings. I actually laughed, like genuinely laughed, because I thought it was a scam call. Lady, I don't have a mortgage. I rent an apartment on Sullivan Street. You got the wrong person. There's this pause, and I hear her typing. Ma'am, I'm looking at an account opened in March 2022 under your name and social security number. The original loan amount was $590,000 for a property investment mortgage. Are you saying you didn't open this account? My sandwich hit the dirt. I'm standing up now, and my coworker Dave is looking at me weird. I've never taken out a mortgage in my entire life. I've never even owned property. More typing sounds. Ms. Brennan, according to our records, you have an outstanding balance of $590,000 plus late fees and interest. This account has your verified signature on all documents. If this is fraud, you need to file a police report immediately and contact our fraud department. She gave me a number and hung up. I stood there for like 3 minutes just staring at my phone. Dave asked if I was good, and I told him I had to make some calls. I went to my truck and pulled up my credit report on my phone. Took forever to load because I was parked in a dead zone. But when it finally came up, I felt like I was going to throw up. Credit score 520. 3 years ago, when this started, it was 782. Over the years, it dropped to around 745 to 750 as these fraudulent accounts piled up, just gradual enough that I figured it was normal fluctuation from increased credit utilization or whatever. But 3 months ago, when the payments stopped, it cratered to 520. I'd been planning to buy a house. Actually, I wasn't just planning. I was literally in the process. I had an accepted offer on a small 3-bedroom ranch about 20 minutes from work. My closing date was scheduled for next Friday. Next Friday. I scrolled down and there it was. A mortgage account I'd never seen before. Opened March 2022. Current balance, $590,000. Status 90 days delinquent. Wait, March 2022. That was over 3 years ago. I stared at the screen. Then I looked at the payment history. Minimum payments made every month from March 2022 through December 2024. Then nothing. 3 months of missed payments starting January 2025. Here's the thing about credit monitoring. You're looking for red flags. Late payments, collections, inquiries you didn't authorize. These accounts, they showed up as current, paid on time, and the names were generic as hell. First Liberty mortgage account could have been anything. I figured maybe it was a reporting glitch from when I refinanced something or some data merge error. You know how credit reports are. They're a mess of codes and account numbers. And I was watching my score. That seemed normal for someone carrying a truck and regular credit cards. The debt-to-income ratio went up, but not alarmingly. I made a mental note to dispute it when I had time. but it wasn't urgent because nothing was delinquent. Then Kyle stopped paying. All 3 accounts went from current to 90 days past due in the same month. That's when alarm bells finally went off and I pulled the full detailed reports instead of just checking my score. But wait, there's more. 2 credit cards I definitely didn't open. One with a $40,000 limit maxed out, another with $35,000 also maxed, both showing the same pattern. Paid on time until January, then nothing. Both showing as delinquent. Total amount of debt in my name that I didn't authorize, $665,000. I called my mortgage broker. Her name's Patricia, and she's been helping me with my house purchase for the last 2 months. Hey, Patricia, it's Josephine Brennan. I need to talk to you about something urgent. Oh, Josephine. I was actually just about to call you. We got a credit alert this morning. There's been some activity on your report that's affecting your debt-to-income ratio. I'm looking at it now, and I'm seeing some accounts that weren't there during your pre-approval. Can you explain what's going on? I can't explain it because I didn't open them. Someone stole my identity. Long silence. Josephine, I'm really sorry, but we can't move forward until this gets resolved. The underwriter won't approve this. How long will it take to fix if it's actual fraud? Could be months, maybe longer. The house was gone just like that. 5 years of saving, overtime, skipping vacations, all wiped out. I drove home early, told my boss I had a family emergency, which I guess technically wasn't a lie. Got to my apartment and just sat on the floor with my laptop pulling up every document I could find. Bank statements, old emails, tax returns, anything that might tell me what happened. That's when I remembered I had a box in my closet. Stuff from when I moved out of my parents' place 6 years ago. Old paperwork, some tax documents, random stuff I kept meaning to shred but never got around to. I dumped it out on my living room floor and started going through everything. Found it about halfway through the pile. Mortgage application, First Liberty Bank, $590,000 loan amount, property type, investment rental, my name, my social security number, my date of birth, and at the bottom, a signature that looked almost exactly like mine. Almost. I sign my name probably 50 times a week for work orders and delivery confirmations. I know what my signature looks like. There's this little hook I do on the J in Josephine. It's not something I think about. It just happens every single time. This signature didn't have it. The J was too smooth, too practiced, like someone had been copying my signature over and over until they got it close enough. I sat there staring at that paper for probably 20 minutes. Someone forged my name, destroyed my credit, and took away the house I'd been working toward for 5 years, and I was starting to have a pretty good idea who it was. My brain's trying to make this not be what I think it is, but it's not working. 3 years ago, summer 2021, my parents threw Kyle a party because he was supposedly launching a consulting business. I showed up after work, still in my boots. Kyle pulled me aside at the grill, asked me to co-sign for business accounts. Just paperwork. You're not actually liable. I told him no. Straight up. Mom came up 10 minutes later, said I should be more supportive of Kyle's dreams. I told her I wasn't putting my credit on the line for another failed business. She walked away looking disappointed. Looking. That was the last I heard about it. Kyle never brought it up again. I didn't think about it until right now. Found old texts from June 2021. Kyle asking to grab old tax forms from my place. I'd said no. Told him to call the IRS, but my spare key was under the mat back then. He knew where I kept my documents. He could have come by any time. I kept digging through the box. Found my tax returns from 2022 and 2021. Found old pay stubs. Then I found a printed credit report from December 2021. I'd pulled it because I was thinking about getting a better credit card. Score was 782. I remembered being happy about that. At the top of the page, I'd written my signature in pen. I put that paper next to the forged mortgage document. Almost identical, same slant, same letter formation, except the J. He'd practiced using this. My phone rang. Beavis, my boyfriend of 8 months. Hey babe, how was work? I didn't know where to start. Can you come over? I need to talk to you. What's wrong? Just come over, please. He showed up 30 minutes later. I was still on the floor with papers everywhere. Josephine, what the hell is going on? I told him everything. The bank call, the mortgage, the credit cards, my tanked credit score. the house I just lost. When I finished, he picked up the mortgage document. This isn't your signature, I know. Kyle has been making minimum payments for 3 years to keep it hidden. Then he stopped and everything fell apart at once. So, who would forge this? Who has access to your information? I didn't answer right away because saying it made it real. I think it was Kyle. Beavis knows my family. He's been to dinners, heard the stories. He knows how my parents treat Kyle like he's some genius while I'm just the reliable one who doesn't cause problems. Your brother, Josephine? That's insane. He asked me to co-sign something 3 years ago, right when this mortgage was opened. I said no. He had access to my apartment. He knew where I kept documents. I showed him the texts, the old credit report with my signature. The forged signature that was just different enough. He read everything twice. What are you going to do? I need to talk to him. When? Sunday. My parents are having their monthly family thing. He'll be there. Beavis looked at me for a long time. You really think he'd do this? I don't want to think that, but yeah, I do. He stayed over that night. We ordered food and sat on the couch. I couldn't focus on anything. Kept running through how the conversation with Kyle was going to go. Sunday was 2 days away. 2 days to figure out what I was going to say and how I was going to handle whatever came next. 2 days to prepare for my entire family to either believe me or think I was losing it. Sunday came faster than I wanted. Beavis asked if I wanted him to come, but I said no. This was something I needed to do alone. My parents live about 20 minutes outside the city. They do this family thing once a month. Burgers on the grill. Used to be nice, but the last few years it's basically the Kyle show. I got there around 2. Dad Cliff was at the grill. Mom Arlene was setting up plates. Kyle wasn't there yet. Typical. Josephine, honey, you're early. Mom hugged me. Where's Beavis? He had stuff to do. Dad nodded at me. That's about all the conversation I get from him. I sat at the patio table trying to act normal, but my leg wouldn't stop bouncing. The printed mortgage document was folded in my jacket pocket. 40 minutes later, I heard it. That deep engine rumble. Kyle pulled up in a Hellcat, bright red, parked it at an angle in the driveway like he was at a car show. Got out wearing sunglasses that probably cost $300. I'd seen that car on his Instagram 2 months ago. Caption said, "New lease on life," with some fire emojis. He'd gotten it right before stopping the payments on everything. Probably knew the walls were closing in and decided to blow the last of the stolen money on one final flex. Mom lit up. "There he is!" Kyle kissed her cheek. "Sorry, had a call with a client. You know how it is." Didn't acknowledge me. Just grabbed a drink and started talking to Dad about the car. "Just picked it up last month. Special order. Thing's got 717 horsepower. Dad actually looked interested. "What did that run you?" "Let's just say business has been good." I sat there watching. The car was probably financed with money he stole from me. The jacket, the sunglasses, all of it. We ate and I kept quiet. Kyle ran his mouth about his portfolio and some deal he's closing and how he's thinking about buying investment property. That last part almost made me laugh. Mom kept looking at me. "You're quiet today. Everything okay? Got something on your mind? Work stuff? Family stuff?" Kyle finally looked at me. "What's up?" I waited until everyone finished eating. Dad was leaning back. Mom was collecting plates. Kyle was on his phone. "So, I got an interesting call last week." Kyle didn't look up. "Yeah, from a bank? About a mortgage?" His scrolling stopped just for a second. "Cool. You finally buying a place?" "No, the mortgage is already open. 3 years. $590,000. Except I never applied for it." Mom stopped. Dad put his drink down. Kyle laughed. "Dude, that's identity theft. You should report that." "I plan to. Funny thing, though, the signature looks exactly like mine." "Well, yeah, that's how identity theft works." I pulled the document out and put it on the table. "Anyone want to explain this?" Dead silence. Kyle's face changed. The cocky smile dropped, and I saw panic before he got it back. "Where'd you get that?" "My files. The apartment you asked to visit 3 years ago for tax forms, remember?" Mom picked up the paper. "Josephine, sweetie, what are you saying?" "Someone forged my signature and took out a $590,000 mortgage in my name, plus 2 max credit cards I never opened. My credit score dropped 260 points. I just lost the house I was buying." Kyle stood up. "Okay, you're clearly confused. Maybe you signed something and forgot." "I didn't forget. Then call the cops, but don't sit here acting like I had something to do with it. You asked me to co-sign paperwork 3 years ago. I said no. This mortgage was opened 2 months later. Dad spoke. Josephine, are you accusing your brother? I'm asking if anyone knows anything. Kyle threw his hands up. This is insane. Why would I need to steal your identity? Because your last 3 businesses failed and you're always broke. Okay, you know what? Screw this. Kyle got in my face. You really want to do this at a family dinner? I stood up. Yeah, I really want to do this. That's my name on fraudulent paperwork. My credit that's destroyed. My house I can't buy. Mom stepped between us. Both of you stop. Josephine, you can't just throw accusations. I'm asking a question and nobody's answering. Kyle laughed. You're pathetic. Something bad happens and you blame me. Maybe you're too stupid to remember signing it, Joe. Kyle, Mom's voice went sharp. No, seriously, she comes here trying to ruin a nice day because she's got money problems. I don't have money problems. I have a fraud problem. Dad stood up. That's enough, Josephine. If this is fraud, handle it through proper channels. Don't point fingers at family. Proper channels. So, the cops. Mom's face went white. Don't be ridiculous. We can figure this out privately. Family handles things privately. Family doesn't commit fraud. Kyle moved toward me. You're really going to be a little about this? I'm going to be smart about it. That's the difference between us. What's that supposed to mean? It means I work for what I have. I don't steal it. You accusing me? Say it to my face. Did you forge my signature, Kyle? No. Did you open accounts in my name? No. Then you won't mind when police investigate. Dad stepped forward. You go to the cops. You're done. You hear me? You're not part of this family anymore. I stared at him. You're threatening me for trying to figure out who committed fraud. I'm telling you how it is. You don't turn on family. Handle it privately or you're out. Mom grabbed my arm. Please don't ruin your brother's life over money. We can work something out. I pulled away. Work what out? I'm $665,000 in debt I didn't create. My credit's destroyed. I lost my house, but I should let it go because we're family? Kyle smirked. You're being dramatic. It's a family issue, not a crime. But sure, call the cops if it makes you feel like a big woman. That's when I knew he did it. And they all knew or suspected and were going to protect him anyway. I grabbed my jacket. I'm leaving. Josephine, Mom started. No, I'm done. Kyle called after me. Don't be a snitch. Nobody likes a snitch. I got in my truck. My hands were shaking. Through the window, I could see Mom crying, Dad yelling, Kyle standing there with his arms crossed like he'd won. I started the engine and drove off. My phone started going off. Mom calling, then texts, then another call. I didn't answer, drove to a parking lot, and sat there for 20 minutes. They chose him, all of them. They knew something was wrong and chose to protect him instead. I pulled out my phone and Googled identity theft lawyer near me. Monday morning, I called in and told my boss I needed a personal day. I had an appointment at 9:00 a.m. with a lawyer named Marcus Chen. His website said he used to be a federal prosecutor. His office was downtown. I showed up in jeans and a work jacket because I didn't own a suit. Marcus Chen, sharp suit, focused eyes. I laid out everything. The fraud, the forged signature, the confrontation with my family. He leaned back when I finished. This is federal fraud. Your brother's looking at prison time. I just want my life back. You'll get both. We file a police report, subpoena bank records, prove the forgery. We spent another hour going over details. Then he walked me to the police station 2 blocks away. The detective was this older guy named Morrison. Looked like he'd been doing this for 30 years. I told him everything. Your brother have access to your personal information? Yeah, he knew where I lived. Asked to come over around when this happened. My spare key was under the mat. He ever mentioned money problems? Always. Jumps from one business idea to another. None work out. Morrison nodded like he'd heard this before. Family fraud cases are ugly. You sure? I'm sure. He printed the report and gave me a copy. We'll open an investigation. Got back to my apartment around noon. 6 missed calls. 3 from Mom. 2 from unknown numbers, 1 from work. I called work first. My boss, Mark. Hey, Josephine, got a weird email this morning. Wanted to run it by you. My stomach dropped. What kind of email? Anonymous. Claims you've got substance problems and owe your family money. Says you're unreliable. I closed my eyes. That's not true. None of it. Yeah, I figured. You've been here 6 years. Never had issues. But what's going on? I explained everything. The fraud, Kyle, the police report. Mark listened. You want me to forward this to legal? This sounds like harassment. No, I'm handling it. but thanks for checking instead of just believing it. That evening, Beavis came over. I told him about the lawyer and police report and the work email. He's scared, Beavis said. He knows you're serious. He showed me his Instagram DMs. 3 messages from Kyle sent that afternoon. Hey, Beavis, just checking in. Josephine's been going through some stuff. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here. She's not herself lately. I'm worried. Let me know if there's anything I can do. I read them twice. My hands were shaking. He's trying to get to me through you. What do you want me to do? Block him. And if he tries any other way, we're adding harassment charges. He blocked him right there. I spent the next few days gathering evidence. Went through emails, found texts where Kyle bragged about working the system. His Instagram was a goldmine. Posts showing him at clubs, designer gear, Vegas trips, all time-stamped right after the fraudulent loans opened. Bank records came back Friday. The mortgage listed a fake address. Street was real. House number didn't exist. The money went to a joint account. Kyle's name and someone else's. Credit card statements showed bottle service, designer stores, cash advances. I matched every charge to his Instagram posts. The timeline was perfect. Saturday night, Beavis stayed over. We ordered food. My phone kept buzzing with texts from family. An aunt. Can't believe you're doing this to Kyle. A cousin. Family doesn't sue family. I responded to one. Thanks. Means a lot. Everyone else I ignored. Marcus called me Tuesday morning while I was at work. I stepped outside to take it. Josephine, I need you to sit down for this. I was already standing in the parking lot, but I leaned against my truck. What did you find? The subpoena came back with more than we expected. That account the mortgage money went into. It's a joint account. Your brother and your mother. I didn't say anything for a few seconds, just stared at the gravel. My mom? Yeah, she's listed as co-owner on the account that received the $590,000. There's also email correspondence between her and the bank asking about account limits and withdrawal procedures. I felt like someone had punched me. What about my dad? He co-signed that 2021 loan you mentioned. They both knew Kyle had credit problems. They both knew he'd asked you to co-sign and you refused. Then suddenly a mortgage appears in your name and nobody said anything. After I hung up, I sat in my truck for 20 minutes. My mom, not just Kyle, my mom helped him. Word was getting around. Some of the poker guys were taking Kyle's side, saying I shouldn't sue family. Whatever. They didn't know the full story. After work, I stopped at the grocery store, was loading bags into my truck when I heard a car pull up behind me. Close. Too close. I turned around and my parents' Honda was right there blocking me in. My dad got out. We need to talk. I don't have anything to say to you. My mom got out. Her eyes were red, like she'd been crying for days. Josephine, please just listen. I'm not doing this in a parking lot. My dad stepped closer. You're not doing this at all. You're going to drop this whole thing right now. Or what? Or you're not our daughter anymore. I'm already not your daughter. You made that clear when you chose Kyle over me. My mom came around the car. We're not protecting him. We're trying to keep this family together. If you press charges, he'll go to prison. Is that what you want? I want my life back, the one he destroyed. It was a mistake, she said. Her voice was shaking. People make mistakes. For 3 years, opening multiple accounts, spending over $500,000, that's not a mistake. My dad's jaw was tight. He's your brother. And I'm your daughter, but that didn't stop you from helping him. My mom's face went white. What are you talking about? The joint account. The one the mortgage money went into. Your name's on it. She looked at my dad just for a second. Panic. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Just stood there looking between me and Dad like she was trying to figure out which lie would work. My dad stepped between us, voice harder. You don't know what you're talking about. Leave your mother out of this. Can't leave her out when her name's on the account. Joint owner. Bank records don't lie. Dad's jaw clenched. That account was for Kyle's business. She was helping him manage it. That's not a crime. It is when the money came from fraud. That makes her an accessory. Business? What business? The fake rental property that doesn't exist. You don't understand how business works. Sometimes you need to move money around. Kyle was trying to establish himself by stealing my identity. My mom grabbed my arm. I pulled it away. Don't touch me. Josephine, please. She was crying now. He's your brother. If you do this, you'll destroy him. You'll destroy all of us. Is that what you want? I didn't tear it apart. You did, when you helped him commit fraud and then lied about it. My dad moved closer, close enough I could smell coffee on his breath. You go through with this. You're dead to us. You understand? Dead. No more family dinners. No holidays. You won't be welcome in our house. We'll tell everyone what you did." I looked at both of them. My mom crying. My dad trying to intimidate me, like I was still a kid. Good. I don't want to be part of a family that thinks fraud is okay as long as it's Kyle doing it. I've spent my whole life being the responsible one, the backup plan, the one who doesn't need anything. And what did it get me? My own family stealing from me. I got in my truck. My dad was still standing there. "You do this. We're done." "We've been done since the day you helped him forge my signature." I started the engine and backed up, forcing them to move. Drove off while my mom was still saying something I couldn't hear. My phone started blowing up before I got home. Texts from mom, calls from dad, a voicemail from Kyle that I deleted without listening. I pulled into my apartment and sat there, gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles went white. They knew, all of them, and they were still choosing him. I texted Marcus, "Need to add my parents to the investigation." His reply came back in 30 seconds. "Already on it." 2 weeks later, Marcus called with a court date. Kyle's lawyer had tried to settle one more time, offered $50,000, and Kyle would admit to a paperwork error with no jail time. Marcus laughed. "He's terrified. We say no." "What's my counteroffer?" "Full restitution, guilty plea, prison time, or we go to court." Kyle's lawyer called back the next day, and that's not realistic. Marcus told him we'd see him in court. The night before trial, I couldn't sleep. Just laid there staring at the ceiling. Beavis stayed over, and around 3 a.m., I got up and sat in the kitchen. He found me an hour later. "You okay?" "Yeah, just thinking." "You're doing the right thing." Court was at 9:00 a.m. I borrowed a blazer from a friend. The courthouse was downtown. Old marble building, fluorescent lights that hummed just loud enough to make your nerves worse. Marcus met me outside. "You ready?" "As ready as I'm going to be." The courtroom was smaller than I expected. My parents were already in the back row. Mom looked like she hadn't slept in days. Dad stared straight ahead. Kyle showed up 10 minutes late with his public defender. Couldn't afford a private lawyer after all. He was wearing a suit that looked expensive, but I saw the tag tucked into the sleeve. Probably borrowed it. He didn't look at me, just whispered to his lawyer. The judge came in, Raymond Torres. Older guy, gray hair, no-nonsense face. The kind of man who's heard every excuse and believed none of them. The prosecutor went first, laying out everything. The forged signature, the fake mortgage, the credit cards, the Instagram posts showing Kyle's lavish spending. She had printouts of everything. Then she brought up the other victims. Kyle's ex-girlfriend he'd scammed for $8,000. A former business partner he'd stolen $15,000 from. A college friend he'd borrowed $5,000 from and ghosted. Kyle's face went pale. The judge flipped through the documents without expression. Then it was my turn to testify. Marcus walked me through everything. How I found the fraud, the forged signature, the confrontation at the barbecue. "Ms. Brennan," he said, "is there any possibility you signed this and forgot?" "No, Your Honor. I keep detailed records, and I specifically remember telling Kyle no when he asked me to co-sign. The signature on this mortgage doesn't match mine. I even pointed out the missing hook on the J that I always include." Marcus showed the judge the comparison, my real signature next to the forgery. "Ms. Brennan, can you explain how you didn't notice a $590,000 mortgage for nearly 3 years?" "Because the accounts showed as current and paid on time. My credit score only dropped gradually, so it looked like normal fluctuations. It wasn't until the payments stopped that everything fell apart." "When did you realize something was wrong?" "When First Liberty Bank called saying I was 90 days delinquent. That's when I pulled the full report and saw every payment had stopped in January 2025. Marcus displayed the payment records. "You can see, Your Honor, minimum payments made from March 2022 to December 2024, then nothing. The defendant kept paying small amounts for years to keep the fraud hidden, then stopped once the money ran out." The judge studied the papers. "So your brother maintained the lie until he couldn't anymore?" "Yes, sir." Then Marcus called the expert witness, Dr. Patricia Way, forensic document examiner. She had a PhD, 23 years of experience, and over 200 cases. She spoke calmly, precisely, the way people do when they know they can't be questioned. She pointed to enlarged images of the signatures. You can see hesitation marks here, small tremors where the forger paused while copying. And here, the absence of the habitual hook in the J and uniform pressure where a genuine signature would show flow. This is a forgery. The judge nodded slowly, flipping the pages back and forth. Definitive? Definitive, Your Honor. Kyle's lawyer cross-examined, tried to poke holes, asked if fatigue could make handwriting inconsistent. Dr. Wei didn't even blink. Fatigue doesn't cause tremor hesitation. That's deliberate imitation. When I stepped down, I could feel Mom's eyes on me. I didn't look back. Kyle took the stand. His lawyer had coached him. He kept his head down, voice quiet. I made a mistake. I thought I could pay everything back before my sister noticed. The prosecutor stood. You thought you could pay back $665,000? I had some deals coming through. What deals? Just business stuff. Can you name one? Kyle hesitated. I'd rather not get into specifics. She pulled out his bank records. Your Honor, this defendant's account balance never exceeded $3,000 over the past 5 years. The only large influxes of cash correspond directly with fraudulent loans. He wasn't building a business. He was funding a lifestyle. She projected photos, the clubs, the designer clothes, the vacations, all bought with stolen money. Kyle kept his head down, face gray. His lawyer tried one last plea. Your Honor, my client is young. Prison will destroy his chance at rehabilitation. The judge cut him off. I've been on this bench 18 years. This isn't a youthful mistake. This is 3 years of deliberate fraud against his own sister. He flipped through the evidence again. Ms. Brennan, I commend you for your composure. This case is clear. He looked at Kyle. You didn't steal from a stranger. You stole from family. That doesn't make it better. It makes it worse. He read the verdict. Guilty on all counts. Identity theft, fraud, criminal impersonation. Mom let out a sob. Dad put his face in his hands. The mortgage is void, the judge continued. Ms. Brennan's credit will be fully restored. The defendant is ordered to pay restitution of $665,000 plus damages totaling $750,000. Sentence, 24 months federal prison, 3 years supervised probation. Kyle's lawyer stood. We request leniency. Denied. Your client had multiple chances to come clean. Instead, he weaponized his family's trust. Actions have consequences. Kyle's jaw trembled. The bailiff cuffed him, and for a second our eyes met. He looked at me like he was searching for mercy. I didn't have any left to give. My parents left the courtroom before the judge even finished speaking. Marcus shook my hand. That went better than expected. What happens now? The credit bureaus will process the court order. You'll be restored within a few weeks. Restitution will take longer, but you'll get it. I walked out and Beavis was waiting on the courthouse steps. He'd come anyway, even though I told him not to. How'd it go? Prison. 24 months. He hugged me, and for the first time in years, I let myself breathe. It was over. 4 months later, my credit score was back to 798. Patricia called. The house I'd wanted was still on the market. I closed in 30 days. My parents had to liquidate assets to pay restitution. Second mortgage, retirement accounts, everything. I didn't feel bad about it. I bought a used F-250 with cash, started taking side contracting jobs on weekends, built my own thing. Life got quiet, peaceful. Kyle started sending letters from prison. The first was apologetic. The second called me selfish for ruining his life. The third, months later, said he finally understood what he'd done. I didn't respond to any of them. Heard through family that my parents were getting divorced. Each blamed me for tearing the family apart. 6 months later, I saw Dad at a gas station. We were at pumps next to each other. He saw me, looked away, didn't say a word. I finished first, got in my truck, and drove off. Didn't feel angry, didn't feel sad, just free. 20 months after the verdict, I was in my garage on a Saturday morning, working on the truck. Music playing from a Bluetooth speaker. Beavis was inside making breakfast. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text message. Josephine, it's Kyle. Just got released. Served my time. Did everything right. Can we meet up and talk? I stared at it for 10 seconds. Typed back one word. No. Deleted the message, blocked the number, put my phone down, and got back under the hood. Beavis came out a few minutes later with coffee. Everything good? Yeah, I said, smiling. Everything's perfect. He kissed me and went back inside. I turned the music up and kept working, sunlight streaming across the tools, the sound of laughter faintly echoing from the kitchen. Look, some people think I'm cold for cutting off my whole family, but I spent my entire life being the reliable one, the fixer, the quiet one who carried everyone else's mess. Not anymore. My credit's restored, my house is mine, my business is growing. I've got Beavis, and I've got peace. Kyle's out now, apparently. Good for him. But that's his problem, not mine. I sleep better than I have in years. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this story deserves to blow up. Several months passed. Life settled into something steady, something real. I'd wake up early, coffee in hand, looking out over the small backyard that came with the house, my house. Beavis would still be asleep most mornings, his breathing steady, his hair a mess. I'd smile, thinking how quiet peace could be when you finally stop trying to earn it from people who'll never give it. Work was good. My crew respected me. The promotion I'd fought for finally came through. Site supervisor on a new residential development outside the city. It felt right, walking onto a job site where my name was on the paperwork, not buried under someone else's mistakes. Every once in a while, I'd get an update from Marcus. The restitution payments were trickling in, slowly, like a leak that never fully stops but doesn't bother you anymore. Half came from property sales, half from my parents' accounts. I didn't track it daily, didn't need to. The money wasn't what I wanted. The truth was, and I'd already won that. Beavis and I started spending weekends fixing up the house, paint under our nails, sawdust everywhere, arguments about tile colors that always ended with laughter. We turned the empty guest room into an office for me, a quiet space with a single photo on the desk, me in front of the new house, holding the keys, the sun catching the corner of my smile. One night, while Beavis was making dinner, my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. For a second, my chest tightened. The kind of old reflex that never completely leaves you. The text read, "I'm sorry, Joe. I really am. I know you'll never forgive me, but I'm trying to make things right. I'm getting help. I know Mom and Dad messed up too. I hope you're happy. You deserve that much. Kyle." I sat there for a long minute, read it twice, then a third time. Then I deleted it. Not out of anger, but peace, because some things don't need a response. After dinner, Beavis noticed my quiet. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said, setting my phone down. "Just got a message from a ghost." He nodded like he understood exactly what I meant. Spring came. The yard bloomed. The air smelled clean again. I planted a small garden. Tomatoes, peppers, lavender by the fence. Alan, my old boss, stopped by one weekend with his wife. He looked around the place and said, "You did good, kid." And I had. The silence that used to scare me became something sacred. My peace wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It lived in the rhythm of things I built with my own hands. Walls, trust, love, boundaries. Mom sent one last letter that summer. It wasn't angry or defensive this time, just tired. "I don't expect forgiveness, Josephine. I know I let you down in ways I can't take back. I'm not asking you to come home. I just wanted you to know I think about you every day. I hope you're happy. Love, Mom." I didn't write back, but I didn't throw it away either. I put it in the same drawer as the old mortgage papers, the ones that started all of this. Not out of bitterness, but because it was proof of something. Proof that truth wins, even if it takes years. By fall, Beavis and I were talking about engagement. Nothing flashy, just the idea of building a future that wasn't built on damage control. Sometimes, when the house was quiet at night, I'd think about how it all started. One phone call, one forged signature, one choice to finally say no. If I'd stayed silent, if I'd chosen comfort over confrontation, I'd still be drowning under their lies. But I didn't. I chose myself, and that changed everything. Now, I don't think about revenge or justice anymore. I think about peace, boundaries, truth, and how good it feels to live a life that's finally mine. I've learned that family isn't always the people who share your name. Sometimes it's the people who help you rebuild after everyone else burned it down. And as the sun sets over the yard I worked for, the life I fought for, I whisper to the quiet, steady air, "I'm finally free.